Hello, this is Kyra. In this video, we are going to be doing a little bit of an introductory overview of Google Forms. Google Forms is a form creating tool, gives you a lot of power to customize a form that you can use for various purposes. So as travel agents, we may have a contact form, we may have a client qualification form or a travel inquiry form. So it's a really great tool that we can use, and it is 100% free with a Google account. So if you have a Gmail account, you have a Google account, and you have access to Google Forms at no cost ever. So completely free. So I'm in my Google Drive. If you are unfamiliar with how to get to your Google Drive, you can see here when I'm logged into Google, I have my little letter K for Kyra, and then these 9 dots, which let you open up the various apps that Google has. Google Drive is the triangle one. So if you're at google.com, you'll see these 9 dots at the top once you're logged in, and you can navigate to your Google Drive. So here I am. I made myself a little folder for this training video today. We're going to start by going over to this new button on the left-hand side, okay? New, and then you'll see we have some options here: Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. Those are similar to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And then we have Google Forms with the purple icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, so now we have a form here. So we're going to just go over a few of the basics of this so that you can know some of the options you have when you are customizing your own form. I'm going to call this quote request. Maybe we'll call it travel quote request. Okay, so I can come here and write a little description here. I like to say, thank you for contacting, let's see, Kyra's travel. Let's say my business is called Kyra's Travel Agency. Maybe I'll put my business name there. Okay, just an example there. Thank you for contacting my travel agency. We will be in contact in 48 business hours. Okay, this is just a short little sample message. You can write a nice little message thanking your clients for reaching out to you, and also give them a little bit of an expectation of when they can expect to hear back from you. So this is our little title area, and you can see here we have options to bold things. We can make bulleted lists, just kind of like you are doing with any sort of Word document kind of program. So let's go up here, and I do want to name this. You'll see when I click there, it does adopt the name of the form. This is how it's going to show up in my Google Drive, and you'll see that in a little bit. So let's start with just some example types of the questions. So you can see here, there is one question already here. If I click into it, it will allow me to make changes. So we have all sorts of question types here. Short answer is a great one. You'll probably use it a lot. You might use the paragraph. Some of these other ones you may use more than others. I certainly use the short answer, multiple choice, check boxes, and probably paragraph the most. But you can see you do have quite a bit of options here. So we might say, your name as an example. Now Google will try to come up with a question type that matches what you've typed here as your question. You can see it got changed to short answer, which is perfect. This is exactly what we would want for this field, because they're not going to be typing too much for their name. Now you can see we have some options here on the bottom. Required. Okay, so when you are creating a form, if you need that information and your client, or whoever is filling out this form, needs to provide that information, do not forget to make it required. This is very important. This means when someone goes to fill out your form, they will have to answer this question. Okay, so let's put that as your name. Now, I'm not going to go over every question that I might put on a travel quote request, just a few, but this menu over here, we have some options here, okay, that we can go through. What we'll be using the most is this add question button or this plus button. So I'm going to add this plus button. Okay, now, of course, if you're asking for contact information, you need their phone number and you need their email address. Let's say you already have those questions and you want to add a question for preferred contact method. Okay. So here we go. This is an example of something. Now I wouldn't use check boxes for this because check boxes allows you to multiple select, like select multiple of them. What I want is multiple choice, which only allows them to select one. And we'll go into an example of check boxes in just a minute here. So now I can fill in my options here. Okay, I can put the options that I have. Let's say phone call. I can click add option here. I can say email, and then let's add an option for text message. Okay. Now I can also add other. If I add other, it will allow the person filling out the form to type in their response. So this can be helpful sometimes. For this particular question, I wouldn't say that this would be useful because we've already covered the main contact methods that our client would want to choose. So I am going to delete this over here with this X button. And we're going to make this required too, okay? So maybe your first section here is about their name, their contact information, how you can reach out to them. We've made this required. Now you can make multi-page forms where you have to go through multiple pages in order to fill out the form. So let's go an example of how to do that. So over here on our right hand side, you'll see this button here with the two rectangles called add section. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see now I have section 1 and I have section 2. So this is a way you can break up your information, and I'll show you how it looks. But let's say our section 2 is travel information. Okay. Now our description is optional, but let's go ahead and put more information about your next vacation, okay? Just put something simple there. So we're going to ask them travel related questions here, right? Where are they looking to go? When are they looking to go? What travel components do they need? So we can kind of build this together just like we were before. I'm going to go to the plus button to add a question, and I am going to add, I'm going to show you an example of how you can use date. Okay, so departure date. Okay, and you'll see this switches to the date category here. So if you are looking for a specific departure date, which is really great, your clients don't always know this information, but it is extremely helpful if they do. You can put the date question type here, which is automatically selected, which will require them to put a month, day, and year of travel. And let's make this required. Now, of course, if you have departure date, you also want return date. We're going to skip over that. We're going to go into an example of your check boxes here. So what travel components do you need? Okay. So we're going to change this. Now it didn't quite pick up on it, but we are able to change it on our own to check boxes. So this is really important to know what travel components your clients are expecting in the quote that they are requesting. So we're going to put airfare. We're going to add another option for, let's say, hotel/resort accommodations. We're going to add an option for cruise. Let's say rental car. And let's say tour/activities. Okay, so we're starting to build together some travel components that they may need. Let's add an other option because they may say something that we didn't include here. You know, we could make a very exhaustive list where we include all the travel components they may ask for, or we can include the most common ones and give them this other field because maybe they want rail. Maybe they really want travel insurance and they're going to fill that out in here. Of course, we're going to quote them travel insurance, but maybe they put that in there. and there's maybe theme park tickets. You never know what they might come up with. So I like the other field for this question, and we're also going to make it required. Now let's do one more example here. Let's add another question, and we're going to say, is there anything else we should know about your vacation? Okay, and it selected the paragraph type. I think this is perfect. You never know what a client may have to share. Maybe it's a birthday trip. Maybe they're really excited about it. Maybe there's something they really want to do that they want to let you know. Maybe they want to go swimming with dolphins. Maybe they want to go fishing. So it's good to leave this open-ended question for your clients to fill out anything they would like to share with you. Okay, now it's always great to get them on the phone and talk about this. You're going to get way more information on a phone call than you are through this form, but this is a good place to start. Now, I'm not going to make this one required. Of course, it's up to you, but I'm going to leave this one as optional. So we have a very basic form here. Of course, this is not complete, but it's a good example of the different types of questions you may be using in a Google form. So let's go over to this paintbrush, or this paint here for customized theme at the top. Okay, so let's click on that. Now you can customize the theme of your form. You can change the color. You can change this background. You know, you have some customization options here with font as well. Okay, you can play around with this. Now, I like to choose a header. So here under header, there's the option to choose an image, and they have a bunch of just stock images that you can select from, and you can upload your own as well if you'd like to upload your logo or maybe a picture of your niche. You know, maybe it's a beach resort if that's what your niche is. So if I come down here to travel, you can see we have some options. Okay, these are just stock available images that you can use. This cruise ship's great if you're creating a form for cruises. I really like the beach chairs here. Okay, let's go ahead and click that and insert that. And you'll see the colors of my form are changing as well to match the image. So I can adjust the color as well, just like we were looking at before. I just want to leave it as default for now, but this is an opportunity for you to play around with the look of your form. I'm going to X out of this. Next up, we have the little I, the preview. So let's go here to our preview. This is what it's going to look like to your clients, okay? Now I'm going to just say this, do not copy and paste this URL to your clients. It will not work. I'll show you how to send the form in a minute. But you can see here, if someone were to be filling out the form, they can put this information here. You can see here that these are on one page. We have our information here, our 2 questions that we put in our first section. And when I click next, it opens up this other section here. Okay, I'm going to pick something here. Let's say something in the past, just a random date. Let's say theme park tickets. Okay, put something in there. Anything else we should know? No. Okay, just fill out some of these things and click submit. You can see here just what it's going to be like for your clients when they submit a form. So really great to test your form out. Okay, now that opened up in a new tab. I'm going to go back to our form. Okay, so that was our theme button. That was our preview button. Before we go off and go over the send button, let's go to this responses tab here. Okay, so you can see the responses that are coming in. What I just filled out did count as a response here. So you can see what I filled out here. I'm going to put in some more information in a moment so we can go over this screen in a little more detail, but it's important to know accepting responses is turned on. So if you are doing maybe you want to know everyone who contacts you in December, maybe you create a form just for December and you turn it off and you create a new form for the next month. So you can turn these forms off if you're tracking maybe where someone's found you. You can create different forms for different avenues. So you may want to turn this off at some time. Now, of course, you'll see here, if I do this, no one can fill out this form. So we usually want this turned on, okay, unless you don't no longer need responses to that form. Now let's go over this link to Sheets button. So Sheets is the spreadsheet software that is included with Google. So it will give me the option to create a new spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what it will do is it will put all of my responses into a spreadsheet. So if you prefer to consume the information in this way, this will automatically dump the responses into this spreadsheet, okay? And you'll see here, if I go back to my Google folder that had this in my drive, I now have my form, which we call travel quote request, and I now have my spreadsheet, which has the responses in it, okay? You can tell by these little icons. So it's gonna automatically populate in the same place that I put the form. So let's go back to the form. One other thing here is these 3 dots, okay? This is very important. I highly recommend you get email notifications for new responses. This means when someone fills out your form, you're going to get an email to the Gmail account that is associated with the form where you created the form. So you'll see I just clicked on it, but now if I click on it again, I have a check mark there. That is great, okay? That means I'm going to get an email notification. It is so helpful. You'll get the email right when someone submits the form and you can go look at their response. So I highly recommend you do that. Okay, we have settings as well, just to show you there isn't really anything here that we are going to be using for our purposes as travel agents, but there is some additional settings there. Now let's go over to the send button here. I'm going to click on the send button. Now you can send your form 3 ways, okay? You can send it via email, so you can directly email it to someone, okay? And include the form in the email. We have the link. This is what I prefer to use. I love the link. So I click on the link button. Here's this link. This is the link that you would copy and send to your clients. Do not copy what is in your website bar at the top because it will not work. It requires you to be logged into your Google account, and your clients are certainly not logged into your Google account. Make sure you send them the link via the send form. Now there's this really handy shortened URL, much shorter URL, not so messy, a lot cleaner. This is what I would do, and I would just click copy here. Now, really quick, there is also the embed option. So if you have a website, you can embed this into your website. It does take a little bit of technical knowledge in order to do that, but just know that there is an option to embed this to your website. But I'm always using the link, and I copy paste this wherever I need to put my form. So click copy here, okay? And you'll see if I come over here and I paste it into my website bar, it's going to pull up this form. So I'm going to pause for just a second and fill this out a few times so you can see how the information looks as it's coming in. Okay, so I'm back to our form. I put in 2 extra responses here so you can see how they look. We are in the responses tab of our Google form, okay? You can see under the summary here, it's going to show you the results from everybody. So we have 3 responses for name. One of the preferred contact methods got more of the responses than others. So you can kind of see an aggregate of your data. Here's the dates that were selected, travel components, and how frequently they were selected, as well as the responses for the final question. Now, what can be a little bit more helpful here, you can go to the question and you'll see everything that was put for this question or this question. I don't really find this too helpful for most of our cases, but individual is very helpful. It's something I use a lot. So you'll see here under individual, we are on response 1 of 3. And I can see everything that I put in while we were on this training. You can read my specific responses. Another great feature is you can see at the bottom here what date and time this was submitted. So if you're ever going back in the past and you're not remembering when someone submitted your form, you can check it this way. So if I go back up to the top and I choose the next one, you can see I put in a response for Jane Doe, and I can see all of the information that was included with this response, okay? So you can go through the individual responses. This is very helpful, and this is how I usually go to read any form responses that I receive. Now let's go back over to the spreadsheet. So you can see here in the spreadsheet, the same information, the details that were put in. Now you may want to make some fields bigger, okay? because sometimes they're really long responses, but you can see the same information here. Now, just to go back to the form really quick, some important things to just remind you of while we are wrapping this video up is that you want to make sure to go to these dots and get email notifications for new responses. This is something I strongly encourage that you do. And when you send this link to someone, go to the send button, go to the link option, shorten the URL, and this is the link you should be sending to anyone you want to fill out your form. So I hope this was helpful and a great overview of Google Forms. You can use this for a lot of things for your travel business, and you can customize it to whatever you need. I'll see you guys in the next video.